And I'm David. Let's talk about Survivor 46, Episode 2, Scorpio Energy. I thought of you.
Ben is slowly becoming my fave because he yelled that Scorpio energy straight into Jeff's face, and I loved it.
Yes.
Of course it was going to be Jeff. Everyone's like, is it Banu?
Yeah. No.
He also gave us lots of Scorpio energy this episode.
Whoa.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But I just want to preface this whole thing. I guess we didn't even do but first, did we?
Yeah, I was going to say,
talk
did
about
you
all
say
of
something?
this.
Did you say Survivor?
So we're going to do Survivor.
But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs
And
up.
support us on Patreon at patreon.com/nerdtainment. Okay. This is not a trader stream.
This is not a trader stream.
I know there's a pinned comment, yada yada.
Please do not spoil the traitors.
We have not watched it yet.
Clearly, people are watching it right now.
We get it.
We can't wait to watch it
Yes.
after this. But priorities, guys, Survivor right now.
Survivor first. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, Scorpio Energy, Episode 2, 2 hours for no reason. They're just filling time on the schedule, whatever. We're coming back from Yanu Purple, right? They eliminated Jelinski. And that tribe, we're starting with them in this episode, and they're just struggling generally. I saw a meme that was like Lulu was reincarnated this season as Yanu, and they're just having a rough go. And Kenzie is crying, and she's like in the confessional, and she's just like, this is so hard. Like, this is only day 4, and I'm already losing it and like losing control of my emotions, and I'm so hungry and I'm cold, and like they're just having a really hard time. And she's like, at least my eyes get really blue when I cry, but
They
other
really
than that,
do. Wow. Those were some blue eyes.
Yeah.
She said, thank you so much. She said, you think it's going to be perfect.
I don't know
And then
who-
you get out here. And I was like,
I don't.
when has anyone ever thought you go to an island with no supplies or resources,
Yeah.
and it's all going to be perfect?
Yeah.
Where people are literally lying and manipulating and trying to win. Yeah. How do you go on this and think that? Of course it's hard.
Yeah.
And I think the theme of this episode really is hitting that like day 2 slump. It's really like day 4 or 5. But like
Kenzie's the first of like 5 people who are crying this episode. Everybody's losing it.
you have that high when you land on
Yeah.
the beach, right? And you're like, I'm here to play.
Yeah.
And then after 3 days of starving and not sleeping, you're like,
Wait,
this
is what it means to play?
Oh my gosh, I am hungry and I'm tired and
Yeah.
I don't know who to trust. And yes, obviously, that's how it is. And that's okay. But we also see Banu paranoid. We see Tiffany and Q being
They're
suspicious of Kenzie.
Yeah, because she's kind of friends with everybody.
Overall, just struggling with camp life in
Yeah.
general. They're a hot mess.
They're a mess. But they're not the only ones. We pop over to Nami Orange, and this is like the tribe that's got it all together, and they're undefeated and blah, blah, blah. And got a number of big personalities on this tribe. I would say leading with Tevin and Soda are probably the biggest personalities on this tribe. Tevin's like, I get along with everybody. I've got a stellar social game already, which I think like, ooh, is it going to continue to be stellar? Sarah's getting text messages.
Can y'all hear that? Like, why is it so loud?
But Tevin decides he doesn't like Venus. And Soda does like Venus. She's like, we connected on a heart level. But Soda is like ready to cut bait. She's like, nobody else likes Venus. I like Venus, but nobody else likes her. So I'm not like gonna fall on the sword for Venus. And Venus just seems to become this sort of outcast on this tribe.
Yeah.
And she knows it. And so now she's crying.
Yes. Yeah, she's all of a sudden in a position of like, wait, why does no one like me? Why can't I get along with people?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? But it was interesting that both Soda and Venus were like, we connected on a heart level, but now we're not talking game. I was like, what is this?
Because Soda's like, nobody likes you. I don't want to like make
like,
you my ride or die.
I don't want to go down with that
It's
ship.
day 4. Like, no. Soda's like in this to win this very clearly. But I feel for Venus because she's saying things like, it sucks to feel like you're not even worth talking to. Like, nobody will even
Yes.
talk to me. Like, this is like the social component of this is really hard on people. And obviously it's only exacerbated by their lack of sleep and food
Right.
and blah, blah, blah.
You're in a bad place. You're losing your patience.
Yeah.
But like, no one should ever feel like you're not worth talking to. It's a social game.
Yeah.
Y'all need to learn how to pretend to talk to people. Like, no one should know or be aware that they're being left out.
Right.
That's just not a good sign.
Yeah.
We do get a beautiful little package about her immigrant parents and her childhood. So that was lovely to see. But yeah, obviously she's not in a great place.
She's searching for a way.
Point.
She's like, do I have to show more vulnerability? Like, what do I do? She's kind of at a loss.
Yeah.
We pop over to Siga Green. Ben makes fire and he cries. Everybody's crying.
But now he's crying. They haven't eaten or sleep.
Yeah.
He's crying because he's like got those insecure kid feelings, but now he's proud of himself.
Yeah, it's tears
like
of joy kind of thing.
a mixture.
And I love, Ben's one of my, favorite characters so far this season. He's like, I didn't even cry when I met Nicolas Cage. I'm like, okay.
What? Who? No slam on Nick.
Yeah.
But who's crying when they meet Nicolas Cage?
Yeah. I wouldn't even think.
It would not even dawn
To
on
cry.
me, Ben, that you should have cried when you met Nicolas Cage. I didn't cry when I met Matthew Perry, and I was like, that's the one that I was like, I still didn't cry.
Yeah.
But wait, I have no heart. So
Yeah,
maybe
true.
I don't count.
That's
but
not a good,
still,
Yeah.
what? Why?
I know, so funny. But Siga's story is mostly about this division in that tribe, sort of men and women with Charlie in the middle. There's a great shot of Tim straight up glaring at Maria as she like walks off into the forest to like get whatever. But he's like glaring at her because she has the extra vote. And he's like, I gotta get you out. This is no good for me.
But he wants to work with her because
Everybody does.
She's useful with that extra vote.
True.
So he's like, dudes plus Maria.
Mm-hmm.
So then Charlie's like, well, I need a ride or die.
Yeah.
Because he's a Libra. Well, he's actually a Capricorn, but he's a Libra moon. So he does need a ride or die. And so he was like, well, if the dudes want Maria, it would make sense if she were my ride or die. So then that duo.
And it also benefits him with the Charlie's Angels thing because he's like, I feel like the Charlie's Angels thing is great, but I'm on the bottom of that. But if I can make Maria my ride or die, then I'm not on the bottom of Charlie's Angels. And so then I can kind of straddle both of these alliances very effectively as long as I have that one person who's kind of with me all the time. And Maria is into this with Charlie. And she's like, this is very Malcolm and Denise. I'm like a super fan. I love.
When they did the flashback, I got chills.
Yeah.
I just didn't see it coming. And all of a sudden there they were.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and you're like, oh my God, I see it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Astrologically, I tweeted this, you guys. I almost said Malcolm and Denise. Charlie and Maria are a great pair. They match up beautifully astrologically. It makes sense that they were drawn to each other. I feel good about them continuing to work together.
Yeah. Then we go back to Nami Orange. And this speaks to what you were talking about in terms of like, you got to learn how to fake it with people and talk to them and make them feel involved, even if you're like not on them, because what happens when they know that they're not a part of something is that they go idol hunting. So Venus is out looking for an idol, but everybody is looking at this point. Hunter is also looking, and then it's Randon who actually finds it.
Brandon, he finds it.
Yeah.
It says beware advantage.
Same
but
advantage
he's
as Tiffany.
like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has to dig. He learns he has lost his vote.
Right.
He's got to find that key, but not till they're
It's so funny because like it is the beware advantage, which has been a thing for seasons now. And he like digs it up and he's like, oh, I lost my vote. I'm like, yeah, that's what it means.
You knew
at this
that was
point.
coming.
That's what beware means.
You would be surprised if it were something else.
Yeah.
Like, you lost your vote.
Yeah. So good for Randon.
Yep.
We go back to Yanu Purple. There's a lot of tribe stuff before we get to immunity because they're trying to fill the 2 hours.
Oh, the 2 hours felt long.
It did. And Jess is eating ants and trying to be more social. And
she is eating ants, A, for protein, and B, so she didn't have to talk to these people.
Yeah. She's like, if I'm eating ants, I don't have to talk. This is great.
Her tribe just is like, you're weird. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Again, hide it.
I know.
Act like you are friends.
I know. But
get some social game.
Well, Kenzie and Banu, I would say, kind of did. Mm-hmm. They go off and they have this moment with Jess on the rocks or whatever. And there's kind of this like private, like, are we going to be a final three? I mean, this is very much, I think, Kenzie kind of like working all angles on her tribe. Mm-hmm. And she kind of throws out like a little bit of a blindside plan of like Tiffany and Q. And Jess and Banu are both kind of like, I don't really know about that.
They're like, this doesn't add up.
Yeah.
And from further conversation that I had with Jess today, she was already on to Kenzie. Kenzie is the social game threat.
Everybody's onto her. Yeah.
And she was like, I don't trust anybody.
Well, and I loved when she like looked at Banu and she was like, we gotta vote her. Like she's mouthing vote her to Banu in this moment. But I mean, I don't know how much social capital Jess had really built up at this point in the game. But she also then goes to tell Q. And she's like, Kenzie's trying to get you. You have to believe me. And he's like, okay. And he's, I think, suspicious. It's still really early in the game. Nobody really knows who to trust. So he's, I think, a little bit like, I don't know you, Jess.
I didn't believe her. You know, the way she phrased it,
yeah,
I didn't believe her. And I just saw the proof that it happened.
Yeah.
But the way she said it sounded like she was making it up. Mm-hmm. She was like, look, this is what she said, and you have to believe me. I was like, that's what someone says when they're lying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We go over to Siga Green, and the producers are thrilled to be able to create segments around Taylor Swift this season. And Taylor Swift gets incorporated into every form of entertainment now, and the producers are like, we cast this Swiftie, let's go. We're going to just have him name Taylor Swift songs for a few minutes.
No.
Let's
go.
No
way is that a fumble. What? What are you talking about? Okay, sorry. Yeah, this was, you know what? It was hilarious. I mean, that's a strong word. It was something.
I tuned out. I got on my phone during that segment. I was like, they're naming Metallica and Taylor Swift songs. I literally, like, I'm neither of those. So I was just like, okay, whatever. Like, this is not.
There's no band or artist that I could just list a bunch of song titles about. Yeah. Even the people I listen to on repeat. Mm-hmm. But I do, like, I was thinking I could just say anything, right? No one's checking.
No, literally when Ben was saying Metallica songs, I'm like, is he just saying words?
Yeah, I would just be like, Forever Yours.
Yeah.
Up a Tree.
Yes.
Around the Corner.
Love Me Harder. Like,
that was great.
Yeah.
Sunrise. Like, I'd be just making up. If you just say it like that, who's going to question you? No, there's literally
you can't
no one
Google
with a
it.
chest. Yeah, exactly.
What? Someone's going to be like, that's not a Metallica song? And you're like,
but
actually it is.
Do over 100 songs. It was just, I actually enjoyed seeing how into it they were and how not into it the other people were.
Oh, the other people were like...
And then Ben was like, what a wonderful way to spend time. And Charlie was like, I'm nailing it at the social game. And then the other people are like, why am I wasting my time here?
Yeah. The other people are like, do we get them both out at once? Is that possible? Then we get a little bit of Liz. Liz is getting some love, and I have a feeling when Siga goes to tribal council, Liz might be the target for some people because she doesn't need this money. She's like, I'm just here to show my daughter that she could do anything. And everyone is kind of confused by Liz. They're like, what game are you playing?
You know what? Samesies.
Who
the heck is Liz? Where did she come from?
Yeah.
And what is happening right now?
I don't get it.
You know what? The first episode, she was like, I had 1,400 businesses.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, not all businesses make a lot of money. Maybe she's not rich. And then she's like, I have so much money.
I'm rich.
That some men wouldn't be comfortable with me. And I was like, oh, okay. Who says that out loud?
Yeah.
That's a choice.
Uh-huh.
Especially when you're playing for a game. So, like, she says, I don't care about the money. I just want to win. That's fair. I get that for you. But this is a game where other people have to vote for you to win.
Yeah.
I think you lost it right then and there.
100%.
Nobody's going to vote for you.
Yeah.
Because you don't need the money.
Yeah.
And so there you go.
There you go. Now, Randon is, one of the people who I think definitely is sort of taking issue with, like, what's going on with Liz? Like, what is her deal? But she is not the only one. Randon does a whole rundown of his problems with every last person on the tribe. And he kind of started the episode with like, Venus, no, no, no. Yeah. And in this segment, he's like, so I realized that the person that I had decided not to trust, I actually do need to trust. And Venus is going to be my person. So he goes to her and he tells her about his advantage.
Okay. Now, I don't know why. Yes, you do need to find someone on your tribe you can trust. I get that. And it's hilarious that he doesn't trust anyone.
Oh, nobody. Which honestly would be me, I think, if I played this game. I would be so paranoid to be like, I can't trust any of these fools.
Oh, that's so funny. I would be like, I think you could trust somebody, right?
Nope.
No. But he is like, why do I have to tell someone about my advantage? That's where my question was. I was like, what? You can find a ride or die.
Yeah.
But why do you have to tell them about your advantage? He was like, literally, I gotta find someone now that I have an advantage.
I know. So that I can tell them?
Wait, what?
I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe he just needs someone to get those things off his chest
Help
too.
him with that.
And feel like it's a safe space.
Look, I loved that he chose Venus. Because she is on the outs.
Yeah.
And no, baby, you can't trust her. But if you can't trust anybody else, go for her.
Sure. And I mean, she's very much like pissed that she didn't find the advantage. She's like, I was looking for that thing. So she's like annoyed that he has it. But she sort of immediately recognizes like, this is shifting my position in the game a little bit. I have information.
Yes.
I have someone who's trusting in me now.
Yes.
She's starting to feel a little bit better.
She's like, oh.
Yeah.
And yay, I was happy for both of them at that time.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a bigger reaction at the beginning of Immunity to someone being voted out?
Off a first
the
boot?
First
no.
boot.
Y'all don't even know him. Why was this reaction so big? And then why did they go on a roast?
A full roast of Yanu Purple. And I'm like, they only lost one challenge. What? It's a bit early to be like dunking on them.
Last name for so. I was like, what?
I know.
I mean, I loved it.
Yeah, I mean,
but woo.
The tensions are high already. Mm-hmm. And Yanu does not like being the laughingstock. I mean, I wouldn't either. I'd be like, you're literally kicking us while we're down? Yeah. Like, we just lost and we haven't had Flint the whole game and you're mocking us? Like, that's rich. I would be so mad. But
I mean, at first I'd be like, I don't know if I would have taken it personally because I was thinking it was about Jelensky of like, whoa, he's not even here to defend himself. And y'all are like roasting him. But yeah, if I'm starving and
then
losing.
Hugh is sort of like, you know what though? It's all good.
Yeah.
Because we'll see how our 5 stacks up to their 5. Mm-hmm. And then Soda
Girl.
gets so upset.
Girl.
I'm like, these people are all losing it already 4 days in.
Girl.
Regardless of where your position in the game.
She's
like,
Aries.
all right, bring it. Bring it then. And I'm like, what are you upset about? You literally just roasted those people after they went to Tribal.
Started it, and I was like, no, roll the tapes. In no way did he start it. Y'all started it.
Yeah.
He was just trying to be like, cool, let's get to the game. And then she had to like salt the wound. Oh,
as if she's some kind of victim.
Then,
like he came for her for no reason.
Yeah. And then Banu was like, I'm intense. Oh my God. I was like, oh Lord.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, please don't.
These people are not okay.
Please don't lose.
Please, I was begging them not to lose.
I was begging them not to lose.
But my begs went unanswered.
It went unanswered.
Yeah. So they're going to win fishing kits. Everybody wants the fishing kit.
Sure.
Because they want to catch fish. And Mariah and Liz are the two who are going to sit out. Who, honestly, are similar characters.
Y'all, the twins. The switched in birth. They're the same person.
Yeah.
And then they just continue to bond about being the same person. They just
gabbed the entire time on the bench.
Which I think mostly it was Liz. I don't know.
It was a little. She was like, "What's your name again?"
Yeah. Who are you? Love your glasses.
Love your socks.
Love that we're the same person.
Yeah.
Hi.
No, it was like they were looking in a mirror and they're like, "Huh, glasses."
They're like, "How did we cast in the same season?
Curly brown hair.
This feels like
wow.
What is this?
Are you my relative?"
Yeah. Do you have a photo of just one parent? It's ripped?
Yeah,
Like,
it was very funny the way
Yeah.
they like kept cutting back to that. I'm sure it didn't like exactly happen in that order, but the fact that it was like intense challenge and then they're like,
Hey.
those socks.
Hey.
So cute.
Hey, what was your name again? Hey, you over there.
Hi, I'm Liz.
Yeah, it was really cute.
It was.
But otherwise, the rest of the players were dying.
I mean, the beginning of the challenge, it's like nothing compared to this arcing puzzle. They have to like unthread the machete and then assemble this cart.
But the cart is rolling over people.
Yeah,
and
they have to dig out these heavy
clunky,
chests.
and yes, and then they finally get to this arch puzzle, which we have literally seen people do solo. It's a solo individual immunity challenge.
Well, but it's smaller when it's a solo challenge.
Okay, is that the difference?
Yeah.
Because
It was much smaller for
by yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It
These are
wasn't
bigger blocks,
persistence.
heavier pieces. Yeah. I think it was a pretty long word when Drew won it.
It was.
But it was a much smaller puzzle.
This was
The physicality required.
intense.
Yeah.
And exhausting.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even there.
I mean, everyone eventually makes it to the puzzle. Like Nami
Yeah, it
Orange
was pretty
is in the lead again.
Yeah.
They seem to be unstoppable.
They're great.
They get to the puzzle first, but everyone's on it. And everybody is dropping. And it's just like boom, 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 boom. Everybody's losing it all over and over and over to the point where we go to a commercial break in the middle of an immunity challenge.
Yes.
And come back to more dropping.
And we come back to an ESPN edit. What was
Yeah.
that? It was like a sporting event. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And
It's
now
like
we're back.
Monday Night Football. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I have to say, I'm watching it, and I am like, I mean, to this person in the chat's comment about like, was it a fumble to eliminate Jelinski? They would have hugely benefited from his height in this challenge.
Stop it right
I'm saying
there.
it.
Stop
I'm
it.
saying it.
Jelinski would have not stood there and held those blocks. Y'all are all like, he's tall. Yeah, you know what? He also wouldn't do it. He'd be chucking those blocks all the way over. He would not even be there. One person yells at him to like hold up a block. He'd be like, I'm done. The letters would be every which way. Don't even tell me he was tall. I don't want to hear it. No way.
I don't know. I wonder if they'd gotten Jess instead of Jelinski
No.
in the last immunity or in the last tribal. Would this be different? But
no way.
We can't speculate on that because he
A
wasn't a
zebra
part of it.
don't change their spots. What is this thing?
Yeah, stripes, spots. Mm-hmm.
You got it.
They're plaid. But Nami wins at last, and they are so intense. Soda is literally on her hands and knees, banging the ground, screaming, like primal scream, so happy to have won. And I'm like, it's day 5.
This was so intense.
You've been through nothing.
What? Those heavy blocks.
Yes, but you are on the tribe that has won at every stage so far this competition.
No, for sure. For sure.
I'd just be like, woo, we did it again.
But the fact that, well, first off, they had one letter wrong. They could have already won this.
Yeah.
But no, once you like try to switch something and 3 blocks fall, they're heavy, they're like crushing you, you're holding them up. It was so draining that I completely understand them like losing their mind in celebration. Liz was like, from the sidelines. It was just so dramatic.
It felt like the reaction of someone who had been to 4 tribal councils in a row.
Agreed.
And they finally won an immunity. And I'm like, again, they're all losing it.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Early this season.
Like, good for them. They finally pulled it out because, like, so many people dropped over and over again.
So long.
So long.
I thought they weren't going to be able to complete it.
But I was like, Yanu.
Please get it together. Please. I was like,
oh my God. They were
please,
so close at one point to pulling out second place. But they do not.
Siga wins. It's no fun. Yanu's a disaster.
Yes.
This is very much a repeat of last season where we're just watching one tribe completely self-destruct.
Yeah.
And it's just rough to watch.
Yeah.
And Banu and Tiffany are both on fire after this loss. I mean, we saw Banu scream at Jess mid-challenge.
Yes.
And that was in the teaser from last week, so we knew that was coming. But Tiffany's a little like, I'm not going to say anything right now
Angry.
because I don't want to regret saying something, which I actually do respect that.
Oh, for sure.
Banu's a little more open about his feelings.
Yes. But I think
He wears his heart on his sleeve.
He really does.
Yeah.
Everybody was upset.
Yeah.
Everybody was
of
mad
course.
and angry and tired and just couldn't believe they were back in this spot. And
Yeah.
I felt for them at this point. Like, yeah.
Yeah. The last little bite we get before we go back to camp was Kenzie wanting Jess to go. So that's kind of like the initial, okay, here's the starting point.
Oh,
Too early.
I was like, Jess isn't going? That's a shocker.
That's that's generally the theory that works for us is that first plan is never the actual plan.
Yep.
But because we're trying to fill 2 hours, we're not going to go right back to Yanu Purple Camp. We're going to go to Nami Orange Camp first.
Because you know who else is mad?
Venus. Because they ran over her foot.
Sure did.
In that challenge, and no one is communicating with her.
She
told people to turn left.
She sure did.
And they turned right, and they ran over her foot. I thought there might be like a medical evacuation about to happen. I was like, what are we doing back at this camp? Like, focusing on her foot being run over.
No, they just needed to show us
Fill
that
time.
Venus is not in a good place on her tribe. I did appreciate that we saw her have a conversation with Soda.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Soda did listen. And then Soda did take back to Tevin that, like, let's just let her cool down. I thought that was valid, but Tevin is sick of Venus's morale problem. And after this conversation with Soda's over it too. Sure. Like, she goes to Tevin and yes, she's like, let's like let her cool off. But she's like, this girl, I'm over it. I know I connected with you on a heart level, but like, that's broken now. I'm done. And Venus is just in her feels about a lot of things. Sure.
And the random thing is like not necessarily making it better at this moment, but she's like, she's focusing in on things like Soda's always grabbing the idol from me. And when they replayed the footage, I was like, I would feel the same way as Venus. I'd be like, stop. Like, why are you always grabbing for the idol?
Oh my God, 100%.
Jeff handed it to me.
It's
Get your hands off of it.
Soda did it twice. Both times.
Yeah.
Jeff hands it to Venus, and Soda grabs.
Get your hands off of this thing.
Now, again, I can't say this enough. This is classic Aries behavior, which just makes me chuckle to watch Soda doing it. But yeah, I mean, if no one's talking to you, someone's grabbing the idol away from you, they don't listen, and they run over your foot. I mean, my God, if someone runs over my foot,
Oh, I'd be so mad.
I am like shooting darts out of my eyes. Like, you had pain. I'm like quadruple angry, right?
You hate me and you won't talk to me, and now you're injuring me.
I get it. And I feel like the arc we're being told here is like Venus was like hedging at first, and now she's like, screw it.
Yeah.
I'm coming for all of you guys. Yeah. And honestly, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Right?
I am here for that. Mm-hmm. I hope this like lights a fire for her. We go over to Yanu Purple. And the slow string music is what they play at the end of a war battle scene in a movie. And like, it's the last 3 soldiers who have survived this battle crawling back into camp, and like everybody they love and have been fighting with is now dead. And that's the vibe at Yanu Purple. They are all defeated, more tears. Tiffany has to go for a walk because she's so upset. And
she's upset because she doesn't want to appear like the angry black woman, and I really feel for that. Yeah. That's hard.
I know. It's not fair to not be able to just like openly express your emotions, and you have to think about how you're going to be portrayed or received on TV. Like, that's really complicated and not something that everybody has to deal with.
Right. And honestly, just as a woman.
Yeah.
Like, Venus is getting it too. Like,
100%.
Women just cannot be angry.
They're crazy because they're crying.
They're hysterical.
Yeah, 100%. Banu kind of early on is like, it's me or Jess that's going home. I think part of that is like, yes, it is Jess. And then part of it is like, he's pretty, as optimistic as he can be, he can also kind of go to a dark place, I think, pretty easily. And just like be really down on himself and be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
This is not going to work for me. Because this means so much to him that the fact that it's kind of not going his way so far, I think is really getting to him.
Right. Okay. Let's get to
strategy.
What? I'm not sure how I feel about
This
this.
fake idol situation.
Yeah, the rest of this conversation is me not knowing how I feel about the rest of the show.
Okay, let's talk it out.
When we hit this point, I was like, wait, what's happening? Like, I get it. Jess is probably the person to take out.
But why do you have to build a fake idol?
But we're building a fake idol to trap the one person that is, like, clearly on the outs?
Just to, like, salt the wound kind of a thing?
Well, they don't want her to play her shot in the dark. Okay.
Sure.
I get that.
But, like, the odds of the shot in the dark are extremely not in your favor.
Extremely, like, low that she would be saved. But
Yeah.
even if she were saved, you could probably get Bono out as a second, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh my God, it's us versus her. She cannot play her shot in the dark or we're screwed.
Shot in the dark?
Sure. You get it. Yeah, this was just gross because then not only do we make it, but we're walking her to it.
Oh, I mean, I did love that she couldn't find it. They're like, we put it in the most obvious place. And they literally like, are like, let's all look around. And she's like, what?
Did you look over there?
Nope. And then it does get, for me, it got really kind of like, oh, this is like overkill.
Yes.
When Q does a whole act, and let me tell you something, Q, you're not an actor, but he's like, Jess, hurry, get over here. I have the idol, and you have to vote for whoever I tell you to vote for. If I'm Jess, I'm like, sir,
What's happening?
what is this? And she does try.
Yeah.
I think she's in a really tough spot where I think Jess in her heart of hearts knew that it was fake.
Yes.
But she's also in a position where she's like, but I do have to at least pretend to trust him.
Yes.
A little bit.
You do.
Because what if he is reaching out
Right.
and extending some sort of olive branch and actually trying to help me? I don't want to like burn a bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, she sniffed it out because it wasn't good acting. But it was like, why? I was surprised that Q like jumped on this opportunity to take this. I just felt like this was just
I'd be like, Jess or Kenzie, you do it.
Done. Like,
yeah.
What is? Oh, she wouldn't have trusted Kenzie. He was the only one that she would possibly trust.
True.
But then he's like, well, then fine, just give it back to me and all that. And then I'm like, oh, this is gross. I don't love this because it's very gaslighty.
Yeah.
Which is a great skill to have, Q, in this game.
Yeah.
Keep it up for you. But it's gross to watch when it just doesn't matter, right? He's not gaslighting someone who's like taking him out.
Yeah.
He's gaslighting the girl who has nothing.
I know. It's like, it's tough to watch. Yeah. And Jess is like, well, no, I don't want to give it back. Like, sorry. Okay. Like, I guess I'll trust you. And then she goes to the well with the women, Tiffany and Kenzie, and they kind of have a conversation about, Tiffany and Kenzie are kind of faking it. Who should we get out?
Blah, blah, blah.
Not one of us, obviously. Like, which of the guys?
Yeah.
And,
Q's
they want to Q's strong.
Bono.
Let's go Bono. And that's obviously where Jess gets her Bono vote, ultimately. But then there's like
But she's like, it's got to be Kenzie. So she does try. Like, she goes back when she's got Q and Bono.
Yeah.
And she's like, they're saying your name, Bono. But, like, we've got to get Kenzie out. She's so good, blah, 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 blah.
She tried.
Yeah, she tried. She's doing whatever she can. But, of course, this is like, Bono cannot hear that his name has been said.
No.
Like, that's too much. That's too much for him. And so I think he starts to spiral at this point.
Yeah.
We're going to see it later.
He does spiral. And they do try a little misdirect where it's like, Q and Tiffany are like, Kenzie is like, she's protective over Tiffany and she doesn't want Q and Tiffany to like be ride or dies kind of a thing. So I think they're trying to make us think that maybe Q and Tiffany are considering this Kenzie plan with Jess. But
like the reality is, because yes, I do think that Q needs to consider taking Kenzie out to keep Tiffany close to him. And Tiffany needs to watch out and not let that happen. But, like, Q's not going to do that while Jess is still in the game. Like, there's just no reason to keep Jess.
Right.
So, I guess I appreciate the editors trying with that. But, like, it just didn't make sense for Q to make that decision at this time. That's a later decision.
Yeah. So, we go to Tribal.
Yeah.
And pretty early on, we get what I thought was kind of a fascinating moment in a Tribal that we don't see often, where Jess fully like turns from Jeff and starts just addressing Kenzie directly and like, oh, like we didn't really talk strategy. And they basically have a conversation to me that should have happened at camp, and they're just having it at tribal council. And I'm like,
Right.
huh,
Well,
I don't see this a lot.
I was impressed with Jess because first off, the last tribal we saw her in, she couldn't make a sentence.
Yeah.
So this one, it seemed like she had some focus and
She got it together.
She had some fight. Like she already planted the seeds about Kenzie, and now she was like, "Hey, let me just make it clear to everyone Kenzie's a threat socially, blah blah blah." And of course, Kenzie was like, "I'll have none of that. I don't want to talk strategy with you."
Yeah, right. Then Tiffany and Banu are talking about their strong emotions. And Banu...
Let me tell you, it is courageous to share your emotions.
Banu is so passionate.
Yes.
And he's basically like, sorry if that bothers you. This is just who I am.
It is who he is.
And it's passionate on both ends of the spectrum. In episode 1, we saw him being so lovable and like, oh my God, Banu. Like, he's just like so excited to be there and like passionate in like a positive, happy, joyful kind of way. But the passion is also on the other side of that spectrum where he's like upset and sad and frustrated, and all of that goes to a 10 as well.
Yes.
And he does something with the fingers and then he clenches the fist and he's like a fighter, and I'm like, okay.
Yes. I love it. He's another one that's giving us the classic sign. So I just get so excited when we have like classic examples.
Yeah.
Because he's got so much in Scorpio. So we're getting so much Scorpio out of him. But that's exactly, you described it perfectly. It's so deep. It's so passionate and intense.
Yeah.
But it can go dark and it can be, the lighter side.
And
as
cues like, Banu, you can't always say everything out loud.
I know, they were like, no, we're
think
gonna
they're
merge
like,
at some point.
And like, Banu, we're not voting you out right now.
Oh, they were like, dude,
can you
it's
chill?
not about you.
Yeah.
No, he cannot chill.
He cannot, because he's so paranoid right now, to the point where he literally turns to Kenzie and out loud is like, who should I vote for? And she's like, what are you doing?
First off, Q calls for the vote. Just like Banu called for the vote last week. Jeff doesn't get to call for the vote anymore.
No, this tribe's a mess.
And then Banu's like, no, I don't know who to vote for.
He's like, Kenzie, are you going to vote me? Are you voting me out? What's happening? Jess is right there. Can hear it. Everybody can hear it. Jeff can hear it.
She's like, the plan.
And she's like, it's the plan. It's good. He gets up, goes to Tiffany. And she's like, it's the plan.
She says, stop making the block hot.
Stop it.
I love that. He was like, got it?
And then he goes to Q. He's like, got it, but I'm going to go to Q first.
But I'm going to go to Q as well. Yeah.
Talks to everybody except Jess.
Oh, okay, that's obvious.
Yeah. So it's just a disaster. And then Jeff's like, finally, I think Jeff's kind of loving it. And he's like, so now is the time to vote?
Yeah. Yep. And so that's it.
They vote. We don't see any of the votes. Jess plays the fake idol. It's embarrassing for her. I don't know why they needed to embarrass her like that.
Yeah, it's so embarrassing. I was like, how does this play out?
I know.
That she's just like, oh, it's not real?
It's not.
And now
and
I
it's
leave?
like, what are you going to do? Sit at Final Tribal and be like, oh, in episode 2, I made a fake idol and got Jess out.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Guess what? Those beads are gone. If you actually did need to make one later, you ain't got them.
Yeah.
So
the vote is Banu, Jess. And she's gone.
I was actually disappointed there was no Kenzie vote. I was like, y'all just set me up for nothing.
I know. That misdirect.
Because it wasn't going to be Banu. Obviously, it wasn't.
No. It was going to be Jess. In fact, I think I mentioned last week in the separate Survivor Fantasy League that I'm a member of, I had picked Jess as my sole survivor. And
oh, that's right.
She's the second vote out, but at least I put all of my points. I gave all 10 of my vote points to Jess this week, so I got the maximum points from her getting voted out. But it just, to me, was like incredibly obvious that she was going to be the next vote. Like, I talked about last week thinking like maybe she's going to get the Aubrey vote. Mm-hmm. She's out of sorts, but then she gets her wits about her and she becomes some sort of strategist. But I think in order for that to happen, she needed at least one more week. They needed to survive this week and not go to tribal. And the fact that it was back-to-back tribal, she just had no time to change her position in the game. So I thought it was a pretty obvious vote out this week.
Yeah, for sure. And I really enjoyed speaking with her today. If you guys haven't watched the exit interview, please check it out because she revealed a lot more than obviously we saw, like her conversations that she had been having, the relationships she did have.
Sure. Yeah, there's always stuff we can't see because it doesn't fit into the story that they need to tell.
Exactly. And I wanted to know, because I felt like this whole fake idol was like overkill. So I wanted to know, like, did it actually keep her from playing her shot in the dark? And she was like, I was not going to play that shot in the dark because I was ready to go. She was like, let me go to sleep. She was like, these people.
Yeah.
You know, she was not getting the vibe from those people. And she was like, I don't need to stay here. If they vote me out, then I'll go. Like, I appreciate that she wasn't trying to quit, but like, she knew it probably wasn't real, the idol. She didn't think it was real, and she had no intention of playing that shot in the dark. So it really was worthless. Like, that was not a great move.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. It is what it is.
I know. She's gone. Poor Jess. I always feel bad for the people who go early because in another season it might have been a completely different story, but this is kind of their Survivor journey, and they'll probably never get another chance when they're voted out this early. So
yeah. I don't think that this is her game. I don't think Jess should come back.
No. I don't think Zelensky should either.
Honestly, no.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if another 10 years, he might need a little age under his belt. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel for this tribe. Like, they're just not doing great.
They're not.
Tribe.
I think there's maybe one more week of them keeping these tribes, and then Yanu's probably going to go to tribal council again, and then we're going to have a switch up.
Yeah. And you know what? Even though some other tribes are safe and they're competing together well, they're not doing great. Like, we're seeing some messy messes.
Oh, yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to see Nami go to tribal council. Because even though they're, like, sitting pretty and winning things, socially, they're a mess. Yeah. They're all over the place. So I would love to see that.
Yep, for sure. There are cracks in each tribe. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us and not spoiling Traitors.
Yes, we appreciate it. We're going to go watch that now. If you are joining us later for this Survivor chat, leave us a comment about Jess's elimination, Banu and Tiffany's strong emotions, and Yanu's future in this game. Give us some predictions and thoughts on all of that.
We will be here on Monday at our usual time for a Traitors finale recap, and then we'll be back here on Thursday nights. This will be our regular spot for Survivor. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. We will see you guys then.
All right. Bye.
Bye.